especially playgrounds, so we're going to continue going. I've identified a few that I'm reaching out to the organizations first before we submit applications, so that we're prepared and they know it's coming, and to make sure there's nothing that I need to know aside from the simple application. Because as we know, there's usually a little bit more behind. But everybody did a great job getting, it was fun to watch the numbers go as people were sending out their contacts. Thankfully, most funding isn't voter-based. But again, at least for me, I know that it really helped me isolate my contacts for this group. And the feedback, I think I said last month, that I received was amazing. I mean, I did a blast of about 2,500 between my different lists, and I had probably 300 responses of not just voted, but voted with a comment like, this is great, this is what we need, let me know, how can we help? So I'm starting to create my own database, and I encourage you all to do the same, of folks who you've heard are interested, so as we move forward, we can keep them involved and engaged. Like I said, there's several opportunities. I'm sifting through. I have a list of 70. I'm on about 35 now. Some are school specific, so that obviously doesn't cut. But there's definitely organizations that are anxious to help, especially underserved community that we don't have in play areas in downtown Los Angeles that we want to look at. But also just community benefit. So we'll be able to work with that. And then at the same time, we're keeping our eyes open for other grants of other things that we do, all of our programming. So we're moving forward, and again, I think this last grant helped us really encapsulate, put a good package together. We got a lot of verbiage together that we hadn't really fine-tuned. So we're moving forward.
Patty worked closely with somebody to put some playground equipment in the new Spring Street Park, and if you happen to walk over on Spring Street between 4th and 5th, the park's actually finished. The construction barricades are still up. The playground looks amazing. And that wasn't
and it's really, the same vendor.
That wasn't part of the original community design, because amazingly, when we designed this 2 years ago, it was sort of, well, the final,
old man, 5 years ago.
You're right. But the final part, a couple of years ago, didn't, there was a small group of parents who said, you know, we want community equipment. The whole entire community didn't sort of get it, and I'm amazed how much the community has transitioned in that period of time.
People keep having babies.
You know, I was amazed at how many people walked strolling through. Well, not how, I mean, it hasn't been like an exorbitant number, but I know the yoga people were really interested in it, and they, you know, wanted to hear a little bit more about it. We had a couple of strolling moms and strollers and stuff asking about it. So I think there's a positive attitude toward it, where at first I wasn't too sure about that. But now I absolutely do see that there is a positive attitude and there is a need for that. So my question to you, Amy, is what do we hear from Yahoo?
Yahoo hasn't responded back.
Do we have a date when they're going to?
They have to sift through all their employees. It's an employee base, you know, so Mary was our sponsor. We applied for a $5,000 grant from Yahoo. They have, it's called Yahoo Employee Foundation, I think is what it's called. They have employees, it's a cool program. They have their employees filter up ideas where they want their foundation money to go. And so Mary is a friend and a Yahoo employee who suggested that we apply. And then they filter through all of those, and then they set up panels. So I will probably be doing a panel for us to talk to them about this. And so
but I'll reach out to you for your 5-month process.
Yeah, it takes quite a long time. Yeah, and I'll double check with Miriam.
It seems like we were working on it for 5 months.
Yes, well, because we started last year and then stopped and then went ahead. But we're meeting with the playground people this afternoon, or later today, this morning, to look at design, to look at, you know, layout. We're still talking engineering. We're kind of running for it on both of the tracks. We have to figure out the engineering and the cost, and then we have to find money. And I have a feeling that engineering and the cost will come before we get the money, but as soon as we know, we'll have solid numbers, which makes it easier to budget and present budgets to receive money.
Could they have any donor recognition opportunities when you meet?
For sure.
That will help.
Yeah, for sure.
Another perspective, we had a resident mixer, and it was the Buffalo neighborhood. A lot of those were actually empty nesters, and they actually expressed concern of lack of playgrounds for their grandchildren visiting them.
I love that.
So
that's a great demographic. We should look into ways of reaching out to that.
Quick question: if we get a grant or a donation, can this be sort of self-contained and put in the park, or does it have to go through all the city's cumbersome procurement
No, it would
No,
be
it
a
goes
bad,
to-
it would
It
be
might go
bad.
to community partners. Our account there is our,
And there was applicants.
exactly, they're
But the
exactly.
city doesn't require the whole city purchasing.
No.
Well, we're going through a preferred vendor.
Yeah, we're,
Yeah.
we're.
Yeah.
We're
We're
using
with
the
someone
city
that
preferred
likes.
vendor anyways.
And the city,
Okay.
yeah, and Recon Parks Engineering is helping us deal
So
with
it's
the
been
substrate.
pre-cleared.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and they're excited about it, I've gotta
If
be
you
honest.
read the instructions on park comfort and safety, they said the easiest way to measure the public's perception of the safety of a park is just count the gender mix. And until you get to 50-50 parity of men and women, the park is not really considered safe. And majority parks that have an emotional feeling of being unsafe have like 80 or 90% men, because the women and the families just emotionally don't feel comfortable. So when you start looking at the attendees of events, think if it's well balanced, you understand that the event has a perception of feeling comfortable. If it's not,
Great information.
then you really have issues.
I don't think
That's great
our
for-
events have that, I think our events are very well balanced.
Yeah.
I would agree.
It's a time when we don't have.
Day-to-day.
Yeah, day-to-day, exactly, yeah.
Calvin.
I did a report on our updates on our social media report. I don't think I brought enough copies.
And Sharon.
But just to give you like a broad overview, just from January, February on Facebook, we went from like 1,500 to today's number of almost 2,000 fans on Facebook, which is a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
And you'll notice friends of fans, and really that number goes from 728 to 905 just by a couple hundred more people. And then on the second page, I put something new since we just started our email newsletter. We have 156 active contacts right now, and these are all opt-in, so we're not like automatically adding people, because technically you're not supposed to do that. So it's just publicizing it on the Facebook page or inviting our friends to opt in themselves. But what was even more fascinating to me is our open rate for our last 3 newsletters. The first one was our first opening one, 77% open rate. The vote for Pershing Square only got 53, which is still great.
It is
Most of the
good.
open rate is
Yeah,
like 20% is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
considered really good.
Yeah.
But our most recent one that we just sent out last week was 69%. So, and that's about 91 out of 156.
Should we as a PAB do a blast out to our friends? I mean,
Yes.
should
Inviting
we
them,
maybe
yeah.
create something to invite them, so
Yeah.
we just forward it out?
Right.
Yeah, that'd be
On the
great.
newsletter, is there a sign up for our email list?
Right, at the very bottom it says sign up. It pretty much has the same email address. And then what we've been doing for each of the individual the free community events, we've been doing Facebook event pages specific to those. And yeah, the opening, the Breakfast Club got by far the most so far. And then you also just posted the summer concert series.
Yes, I just.
And that one's already been, that's probably the reason why we just got another big jump, because people love the summer concert series, and I'll be doing event pages for each of the concerts.
And also, we have, we worked on a little bit of a campaign on how to get people to join the letter by working some VIP seats and the sponsorships, but we'll talk about that as we get closer to the, oh, I'm so sorry, but it's Sophia. Excuse me. First.
So as a way to, we were discussing as a way to encourage people to sign up for the newsletter, to actually set aside a couple of VIP seats, like closer to the stage for the concert series. So if they sign up for the email newsletter, they'll automatically be entered into a drawing for VIP seats. I think will be, it's an easy thing for us to do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can we coordinate something like that with the email blast from you guys? If y'all could do some raffle tickets for VIP, whatever.
Yeah, we can put together a larger giveaway.
Facebook technically you have to go
Yeah.
use their app, so, and it's like it costs like $3,000 to $5,000 to use a Facebook app, but there's a way where we can just advertise it and promote the advertisement or something. There's ways around it, but we do have to go through Facebook rules, or they'll turn off our account. So those parts, that's why we're just not putting it up. We're not just putting it online, we have to think it through.
Is she
Do you know if there's brochures?
Well, you mean flyers and
Flyers
stuff?
for the-
Yeah, and the ads, do you know if she's putting all this in the ads as well? Who
Probably,
you talking to her?
we haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
I know there's a flyer for
I
the
need to
movie
talk
I
to her.
saw on
No,
the
she's
counter.
doing it because she's sending me ads as well for
Okay.
the summer concert, but we should definitely do.
Yeah, we could
the
do like
email
a
sign up
summer,
and
we
then
could even do something bigger, like a summer concert sweepstakes, where they get VIP seats at the concert of their choice and a night at the Biltmore dinner somewhere. And that way, like when we do those sweepstakes, we get about 890 new names within like a week.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Stay at the hotel and just walk across the street.
Yeah.
Maybe like
So, I can reach out to.
drinks at the Perch or something.
I can reach out to the Biltmore and.
And if they don't do it, I can reach out to Kathy and I'll
Okay,
do it as well. And
that's of
then-
interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
talk
I'll,
about that
I'll
separately.
just, okay.
So that's it for.
Community outreach, all right. Unfinished business, urban people update. Is that Louise?
Probably. Yeah,
We were just discussing this, and Jason's also on the D-Links Park Committee that works with Urban.
Okay, I have a comment card from him, but I thought we had update internally as well. But that's Louise.
I think it's
We were
Louise.
just, Jason and I, Louise, were just discussing that
Yeah.
beforehand, so let's table it till she's back.
Well, I think we need Louise for all of this. Do you want to talk about the farmer's market? All right.
Farmers market. We met with John several times, and he's really being very helpful, because in our rates and fees, we don't have anything set up for farmers markets. And since nothing's been established, that's why we had such a challenge with how that was going to work for us anyway. So after meeting with him, we've decided that there's a protocol for that, and that will be implemented. So we now have the farmer's market. We don't have an ROE yet to get it started for the second. Well, actually we do, because he ends in June, so that means in July they will start on Wednesdays and Thursdays, back to back. So we'll have it twice.
In July.
Is that continuing until, or
Well, there are ROEs for a year.
for a year, it will be Wednesday and Thursday?
I actually met with John for about an hour, and it was the same thing where we had a lengthy conversation about the cost structure of farmers markets.
Yep.
And in almost every situation, vendors like a shopping center or the city sponsors the farmers market, and the rental fee is almost nothing. They're presently paying, I think, $1,200 a month, which is about, what, $300, $350 a week, which seemed really, really cheap. But that $350 actually is a percentage of the gross sales of all the vendors, and they get about $1,300, $1,400 a week, but then 100% of their expenses come out of that. So the Parks and Rec really didn't have the structure of being able to take a percentage of the vendors. So it's been sort of cumbersome. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to affect it, but it looks like they've already reached agreement. There was an article in the Downtown News about John working with Medallion Project to do a full-time farmer's market, in that space too. So, he's a good guy. He's willing to expand and be aggressive.
We skipped over.
As long as they have summer onions, all this talk, if they don't have the summer onions, what difference does it make?
Contractually, we skipped over the urban because we
Okay,
needed
you want to go back?
to.
Okay,
Yes.
so, Russ had a question, just this morning, but let me, just go back and say, when we closed out of the LA Parks Foundation, we took a vote on giving the urban folks $1,000 to improve the garden area, to do the second phase of the pet area. That was executed, right?
Yeah.
They have the check.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, we called on April 30th, Al Panera came down, who's the guy who takes care of putting in the water drip and everything like this. And he said he would come down, we worked with him. He cannot start until the electricians come down and pinpoint the underground conduit wires and things like this. So we're having a bit of a challenge with the electricians because we have, I think, like 2 electricians for the whole city. But today, I know it's very sad, but today I actually have a meeting with one of the head electricians because I found a problem that we need to correct for the downtown summer stage. And while he's here, I'm going to speak to him about this because I know this is a project Kevin expected to go through. I know Jane has sent 2 emails and you know, it's like, I'm trying to find out what the problem is in getting an electrician to come out, because the plumber won't, it's kind of like, you know, the plumber won't do his thing, because if he breaks an electric conduit, then the electrician yells at him. So that's where we're at right now, but I hope today I can negotiate something with their supervisor.
And I'm just gonna add, just FYI, part of, and I know that there are, we have our challenges with getting the electricians and plumbers out, but the person that was in charge of that whole, called division, maintenance division, retired. At the same time, his second again guy retired.
Are we suffering from
He retired, he just decided to retire.
So it would seem to me, because I discussed this with Jane at the sponsor of that, Jane said the pockets are already here, they're stored in the area. We gave $1,000 to them already for, which should cover the dirt and the
Park
flowers.
advisory board, it's not the park advisory board yet.
Right, so the urban grant through D-Link actually sounds like it's more for the SRO rooftop gardens and not the
We're not involved with that.
That's not,
Right, so that can be shunted to next year.
That had anything to do with it?
No.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Not for us, all right. Community rates and fees.
Got good news on this?
yay.
Yay!
Sophia and Carl are diligently working on this, and I have had a couple of situations come up regarding rates and fees that, you know, really don't fit under the Pershing Square rates and fees as they exist now, and we are handling them on an as-needed basis, which is just great, because now, you know, Gus and I just had a community theater group come in, homeless advocates come in regarding a theater production. We don't have rates and fees for that, but at least now I have a venue to say, this looks like something we've investigated, we're working with these people, it looks like something we can do, we need rates and fees on this, and they'll go and they'll work with us directly as things come, while, you know, on the other side, they're, you know, organizing the total rates and fees. So, that, I think that's another great leap forward, that the Park Advisory Board has had great input in. And this also helps them create the new community rates and fees, you know, it's at an as-needed basis, but you know, it's logged in there, well, we did this and that, and we did this for that, so that's great.
Quick question, Film LA, I'm on their community advisory committee, we discussed Grand Park and Pershing Square filming yesterday. They're very willing to come to one of our meetings, you know, if we need them here. But when we were discussing fees for Pershing Square versus Grand Avenue Park, they were saying that part of the fee goes to the property owners around here as part of the bondholders, which as an administrative fee, and I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, no, that's not true, you know.
Okay,
That's not true.
Sometimes film permits do that. Because I think when I
Film
was looking at
permits, but
library
not
tour,
the
they
use of
did the
facility
same thing
permits.
to
Well,
HOA.
it sounded like more than 50% of the film permit fee was going not to Pershing Square, but to someplace
No,
else.
that's incorrect. It goes all to our PS4 account, which is our recreation account, because that's how we're able to do free programming. A lot of it has to do with our filming and
I will do some
facility
follow-up,
work.
make sure they're not cutting 2 checks to go into some.
No, I don't have to do that, I know where it's going.
Okay, so why would they say that?
Well, why do they say a lot of things that they say? I mean, that's not for us to get involved in, but.
Okay.
Are they staying away from us because of that?
No, they actually said Pershing Square is very friendly, and, you know, you probably read in Downtown News.
They changed the rate,
Yeah.
they changed the fees on Grand Park.
Still do that.
What were they changing to
It was
5,000 now?
80, then it went down to 20, it was 20, it's considered
It's actually been reduced again, but they still feel that, film committee feels like, unless it's free, it's too much.
That's fine.
All right, new business, meeting schedule, Louise.
Yes, I wanted to just put this forth to have, we have been meeting for the past 10 years, every month. And, we have now accomplished many, many things. And I'm wondering if we could just marinate on this, maybe going for a full body meeting every other month and an officers meeting every month.
And so that means we have an executive meeting once a month. And then every other month you would have full board. And then in between you're having your committees. Now that you're really set up in the committees, good.
And I didn't even think of the committee things, but we all seem to be working like that.
Yeah, I would even suggest maybe having a full body.
We can always, I'm sure that the bylaws do say we can call a meeting
If we need it.
if we need it at any time for the full body and with notice to the community as well.
The way D-Link works is almost all the real work gets done through the committees.
Yeah, that's what's
Yeah.
happening
You know,
here.
and this just becomes sort of a reporting.
Yeah, right. Yep.